Good morning and welcome to the channel. We're back with another episode where we're going to be looking at the Blundstone 168 safety work boot. That's the Blundstone work boot that offers the toe cap on the front here. I did a review of these after 1 year of use a few years ago. I posted that and I thought I would just do another updated version now that I've had about three and a half years of use out of these boots. Pick up where I left off just now. I have owned these boots for about 3.5 years. I did do an update video a year into wearing them, which I'll post here. I think it's that corner, could be that corner, but a little tab will pop up if you want to watch that first video. But it has been a couple years and I have just now worn through the rubber sole of the right boot right here where the big toe is. It's a very common spot. So I've worn through the rubber, I've hit the slim foam midsole, and I see actually some of the stitching of the footbed itself. You can also see here with that darker material, I've worn through the heel just enough to break that rubber and hit that foam. So it is just a matter of time now until the sole starts to fall apart a bit more. Once you break through the rubber, it's almost game over. I definitely won't be able to wear these in winter as that hole will just let in water and slush and everything. So traction wise on both of these boots, other than those high prone wear areas, you can tell that the traction does look pretty good everywhere else other than maybe those back heels, which is too bad. And of course where those big toes are tends to be a high wear point as you pivot on your feet. And you can also tell looking a little closer on these toe caps here, there should be 3 lines. The left foot does have those 3 lines. The right one is worn off, and again that's because when I'm on my knees working, my toe is like this often, so it does see a little more abuse on my right boot, especially that toe area. You'll remember, you probably won't remember because you probably haven't watched it, but in my previous video I mentioned one of the biggest reasons I bought these boots was for this toe cap, as other boots I would wear or even shoes doing interior finishing would always wear prematurely on this toe area. So a toe cap was super important for me. Not many other companies were offering it other than Blundstone at the time. Even now I think they have the strongest hold in that category of a good slip-on durable boot. I am thankful I had the toe cap. I think I'll go back to that when I purchase most likely another pair of these. So these have lasted 3 years of continual use. The pros of them, for what I do, again in and out of clients' houses, easy to slip on, slip off, loose too. I do like it being a little looser just because I need a little bit more flexibility. For crouching, for going on my hands and knees, for getting into tight corners and stuff. So I do like the flexibility. That's a pro for me. The toe cap, of course, probably the biggest pro for me. The traction on these have been decent. I've worn, I had a pair of Red Wing boots that the traction was a lot better on those than these, but I'm not really too concerned about that. If you're working on a factory floor, you might want something like that if the concrete is a little greasy or wet, or condensation can be an issue. But for what I do, it's totally fine. What else do we got here? I thought I would have gotten a little more wear out of the outer sole, the rubber. I know I've talked to some guys and they've lasted them for 5+ years, and they're electricians and plumbers, and a concrete guy too, which I don't know how he squeezed that much out of it. But for what I do, I thought I would get at least another year of use out of them. They're an expensive boot. I think right now in Canada they're $250. So yeah, you'd expect maybe a little bit longer for light use, which is what I consider I would be doing, is light interior work. Some framing and some exterior stuff, but not too much. Other pros, I'm happy with how the elastic has lasted. It still is stiff and stretchy. There has been some fraying on the sides here. Again, that's something you might want to be mindful of if you're doing a lot of stuff where it could snag there. I've seen some guys and this is just like completely ratted apart and torn and stretched. But for me, it hasn't been an issue. I've been impressed actually with how long that elastic has lasted. For the leather itself, I'm also impressed and thankful that no stitching has come undone. The leather itself, it has been beaten up a little bit, but there's no punctures, no deep cuts or anything. For water and weather resistance, I've never gotten wet in these boots. Again, don't do too much exterior work. There's been 1 or 2 days when it's been raining and I've been outside, and I don't think the water has gone through. I could just be remembering incorrectly, but I have been impressed with the leather. And of course, if you're looking for something waterproof, you're going to be looking at Gore-Tex. It's pretty much your only option for that guarantee. But for me, it hasn't been an issue. The sizing was a little weird. I'm a size 11. I bought a size 10. They seem to be still a little loose. So I added an extra footbed that Blundstone offers. And they actually recommend if you do need to stiffen things up. And that actually did help. And I haven't taken that out in over 3 years. So it was kind of put it in and forget about it. And that was good for me. Yeah, the pull tabs are still in good use. There's no sign of wear or tear on those. All the stitching, no stitching has come undone or has been damaged. The side rubber, sometimes there's cracking and stuff when you flex and everything, but all that is still in pretty good shape. You can see there's really nothing, maybe a little bit of a crease in the leather itself, but that hasn't been an issue at all. All the stitching has remained intact, and most of the tread still has a lot of traction left. It is too bad that those wear spots kind of limit me to having to get a different new pair. So those are the pros and the cons. Hopefully it was helpful if you are considering this pair of Blundstones. Again, I kind of think it depends what you're doing, but with that being said, I do know guys in the different trades and they have all appreciated this pair of boot and have been impressed with them. So the only thing I would mention, I think, would be the ankle support would be the biggest downfall. If you do need that, if you're on a messy job site of any kind, you might want that to be a little more secure. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.